announcements tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. And then we're going to move on to City Council member announcements and reports. Councilmember Zamoran.
Thank you. No announcements, no report, other than I just wanted to acknowledge and make people aware that I did have some residents bring to my attention that there was they had questions about current use of our wastewater facilities, and I did inquire. And actually, I thank you, Vanessa, for responding to my questions, some of the questions. But so basically, the questions were in regards to see if there were, how was that wastewater plant being used for recreational purposes, and because the question was if it was open to the public, which first of all, I didn't know that it was being used. And so I'm assuming that based on the response, it's not open to the public at the moment?
It is not a facility at the moment, so it is not open to the public. It was requested for a testing or pilot program, and that was a one-time use and one-time exploring.
Okay, so was that a one-time, one weekend, 1 month?
At the moment, they want to test out the site one time.
Okay, but all right. So because I will have further questions in regards to how that was. I was assuming that something like that should have been brought to the council first, and especially because of the liability. In addition, because it's part of the wastewater, and something like that would probably need to have additional permits. One, to be able to use it, and two, to be able to have heavy equipment changing the landscape of the land. And then in addition, was there? I just wanted to know, was there liability insurance offered in case something happened?
As a one-time exploratory or pilot program, there was a writing or like use it at your own risk. If there is any attempt to make this a permanent site to use it for any activities, we will be exploring all of the options as far as legal liability and bringing an item to council for review and approval at that moment.
So there was nothing written, just verbal agreement, and hoping that nothing would happen?
At this moment, the persons using the facility assume the risk and liabilities.
But it was just a verbal agreement?
There wasn't a written agreement. It was an exchange for them to use it and do this pilot program.
Okay, well, I'm just hoping that in the future we could have city business done on writing and not because, in the court of law and liability issues, anything had to be on paper. That would be a little bit irresponsible on our part, from the city's part, if we do this for one and not for everyone. So, all right, that's it. Thank you.
And I can speak a little bit more on that. This is a group of residents working with the city, trying to explore an additional outlet for our youth. It is a pilot. It is something that we're trying to see if that's something that would work for them. And if so, then we already touched bases with legal. Legal's very well aware in regards to liability and all that. And if it does move forward, then there'll be parameters in place to protect the city and liability wise, then at that point, items will come to council. But it's just another opportunity that we were approached by residents, and a large group of residents are wanting to participate and come up with ideas to help our youth. So it's actually nice to see people wanting to get involved and work towards something. So, of course, I know Tom and Aaron are going to speak a little bit on it. I know you've been on it and aware and working towards finalizing that.
Yeah, if you get council concurrence, then we'll engage, we'll contact our risk management authority, all of those things that needs to be done as with any other activity.
So legal was involved in the conversation prior to this?
Yes, they were aware that there's a group intending, and then first of all, we have to find out kind of if it's even a possibility. So I think that's where we're at, see if it met the needs of the group, and from there, go through the correct channels so we could have an item brought to council for approval.
Was anybody else aware that in order to move or remove or move land around in the wastewater plant, there needed to be some kind of advice from the State Water Board?
I think that's something we're exploring. I don't think the whole landscape was changed, and it's not a pond that's being used right now. So I think that's what we're trying to figure out and trying to assess, see if it's even a possibility. But this is an item that's going further than what we need to be discussing. It's not on our agenda, so we need to move on.
Well, I was just wondering because this was a question to the city. To the city manager as part of her report. That's why I was asking.
All right,
to make the
move
people
on
aware.
to Councilmember Maria Soto.